السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تعالى إن الذين يحبون أن تشيع الفاحشة في الذين آمنوا لهم عذاب أليم في الدنيا والآخرة. أما بعد. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most magnificent, most beneficent, most merciful. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all his ni'mah and favors that he has bestowed upon us. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the divine guidance, the tawfiq and the life to be present in this gathering today. Topic under discussion today is in regards to unlawful inclinations. Unlawful inclinations, unlawful desires. And but before we discuss that, I want to talk about something else slightly that will give us an introduction to what we're going to be discussing. When a child reaches the age of puberty, suddenly the engine that he didn't have in his body suddenly starts. Yes or no? Now, somebody has a 2-liter engine, somebody has a V6, somebody has a V8, somebody has a V12, but some people slowly come into adulthood, some people suddenly come into adulthood. Each person is different according to the biology and the genes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed in our bodies. But one thing for sure is that inclinations and desires erupt in the heart of the person, believer or non-believer, but inclinations and desire erupt in the heart at that time. Now, at that time, when a person is still trying to figure out what's happening and how to deal with these emotions, the parents are having a hard time with the children because the children are now slightly rebelling because they've gone to that age and they've just reached the early adulthood. They still do not know their hormones are flying all over the place, and that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that ash-shababu shu'batun min al-junun is a form of insanity. A person goes into a form, he's not insane, but it is a form of insanity that they do crazy things, right? Children do crazy things, and young adults, and not children, young adults do crazy things. And today, that young adulthood area, that age in which a child is in his just coming into that young adulthood time of his, they're made to say, okay, do you think you're a boy? You can be a boy. If you think you're a girl, you can be a girl. If you think you're a horse, we'll accommodate that. If you think that you're a cat, we're going to be accommodating to that also. So when a young adult has no idea as to what, how to even control himself at that time yet, he's still learning and he's still, exploring his body. He doesn't know. So, or she doesn't know. They're made and they're being forced into making these decisions that easily could warp into something very different, or can very easily be misled into something else. This is something that is happening today, but the desire and the inclination has been in our genes since when? Since the time of Adam alayhi salam. If we didn't have desire and if we didn't have inclination, what would be the result of society? What would happen? What would happen is that the average person, a sane person, would never get married. Why would he get married? Like, why would he take financial responsibility over another person? If there was no inclination, if there was no desire, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put the inclination and the desire for a reason and a purpose. Because man in his nature is in his nature, fitra, doesn't like to spend, he's a miser, but he learns to spend over a long period of time on his family and on his children. But given the choice that if he didn't need to spend a penny, he wouldn't spend a penny, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the desire such, the inclination such, that the man needs to fulfill desires, women need to fulfill their desires. And in order to do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the beautiful gift of marriage, right? So that these inclinations and these desires can be fulfilled through marriage. But that doesn't mean that a person cannot have evil inclinations even after marriage. A person, even a sane adult, even a person who's married, who has children, who could be, doesn't mean that he or she will not have evil inclinations. Evil inclinations are going to be there all the time. So the person asking the question is a regular person, 100 years ago, approximately 100 years ago. And you remember the question? Who read the notes? Do you remember the question from last week? Nobody. One person remembers the question. 2 people remember the question. 3 people remember the question. All right, so I'm going to have to repeat. But so he has a series. He has a 1-page question. That's why I gave you the question last week, so that this week we'll go into the answer. But it seems that I have to go into the question a bit. So because I'm going to take a abridged version of the question, all right? He asked the teacher that you are my tabib, you are my doctor, you are my spiritual doctor, and I need to seek your consultation in regards to something that I sense and perceive in my heart, and also in regards to my own state. My salat has been on and off my entire life. On and off. Salat has been what? On and off. Sometimes I prayed, sometimes I didn't. Sometimes did I have wudu, didn't have wudu, I am unsure. Sometimes with, sometimes without. Even if I didn't have wudu and there was a whole congregation standing, it's not as if I would start in worship. I would just stand there in silence. I wouldn't, because I understand that it's not permissible to stand for salat in wudu. So I wouldn't stand in salat, but I would just stand with the people praying in silence and not make the intention of salat, but I would just stand in silence, right? So I cannot remember 2 months in which I could say that I have prayed consecutively salat, 2 months consecutively. Sometimes I've prayed like 30 days consecutively and then missed, and then prayed again and then missed, like on and off. I kept majority of my fast, but again, you know, sometimes I have also missed my fast. Externally, if somebody was to look at me, somebody might say that I might look like a scholar, even though I might not be a scholar, but I might look like one. Not that I am one, right? Because internally I lie, I backbite, I envy others, I have the love of wealth and I have the love of status, and all of this is due to my arrogance. Actually, I don't believe there's not any disease that I do not have inside. I mean, I technically have every disease that's out there. Every disease that's out there, I have it inside. And I also have an inclination towards the same gender. And I also have an inclination towards the same gender. Not old, young. And I believe that maybe this is the root of all evil. And maybe this is the reason I am not able to do anything properly and with consistency. But it's not as if I have succumbed to my inclinations. I face my inclinations head on and I do not act upon them. even though the inclinations are there, but I do not succumb to them, nor have I ever done anything that would that would be impermissible, but the inclinations are there. Like sometimes when I'm able to find some consistency in my routine, in my a'mal, in my actions, that I've prayed for a week, I've sustained myself properly for a week, I've not done anything wrong, I get super happy just for me to crash 2 days later, right? It's just for me to crash 2 days later, and then I go on a downer, and then I just keep going down until miraculously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala picks me up again and puts me back where I started, and I start again. And then this is an ongoing thing. And obviously he tells his teacher that I'm really shy telling you these things, but you're the doctor. Obviously, if I don't tell you, who am I going to say it to? I have to say it to you because you are the person that's going to treat me. You guys provide a solution. Answer. For you to have concealed these things from your teacher, you did wrong. For you to have concealed these things from your guide and from your spiritual guide, you did wrong. You shouldn't have concealed them. Remember, there is no sickness that does not have a cure. لِكُلِّ دَاءٍ dawa. For every sickness, there is a dawa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, on the tongue of the blessed tongue of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لِكُلِّ دَاءٍ dawa. For every sickness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down from the heavens, there is a cure for it. Now, it is our duty to find it, right? And as we have physical sicknesses, we have spiritual sicknesses also. And for every spiritual sickness, there is also a dawa, there is also a cure. But the biggest, the most effective is to remove yourself from the situation completely and go and stay in the company of somebody for 40 days, 50 days, 60 days, or 4 months, or a year or 2 years. And then you will automatically sense, that change will automatically come inside of you, because that's the best solution. Remember, sometimes drastic measures. Tell me, do you like to sleep in your own home, in your own bed? Yes? But sometimes you're forced to go to a hospital, yes or no? Do you like it? You get to relax, food is served. Look, food is served for you all the time. There's a television in front of you. You have a remote control. With one press of a button, your khadim comes. I mean, what more do you want? You get everything in a hospital, but are you comfortable? You're not comfortable. Why? Because a man gets used to his surroundings very, very quickly. And a man doesn't like change of habits. The moment you take him out of his habit zone, his comfort zone, he doesn't feel comfortable anymore. It doesn't matter how comfortable you make him. It doesn't matter how comfortable you make his hospital bed. Is he comfortable in his hospital bed? Yes or no? Your eyes are glazed over. Are you thinking, or what? Did you suddenly disappear from my majlis? Or you are here? All right. So Allah save us from it. Allah save us all from it. But nobody likes to be out of their comfort zone, right? But sometimes you have to go. Yes or no? Yes, somebody called me yesterday. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala probably put them through certain conditions, but there was a situation where they had to stay away from their families for a long period of time just to get better. Now, when a person is depressed, where does he go? If a person is extremely depressed, what's his solution? Do you know why you guys don't know? It's because you are not interacting with these type of individuals. Treatment centers, what's that treatment center called? Rehabilitation, rehab, right? You go back to rehab. So so that a depression clinic or this is something that we need to open, by the way. Very important. We have to open, because if There's so many of our Muslim brothers and sisters who are depressed, and the parents can't do anything about it. The children can't do anything, but siblings can't do anything about it. Spouses can't do anything about it. But they need to be in a professional environment where they can be counseled and talked to, and they feel comfortable, and you bring them back to reality, right? You bring them back. That's what it is. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to open one, inshallah. Along with our soup kitchen, don't, it's important. Who was I talking to for the soup kitchen the other day? Ismail? Oh, the board? No, actually, I was teaching a hadith in Mishkat, and some narration came, and from that narration something clicked, and I was talking about it. But khair. Where was I? Rehab. So a person sometimes stay away, yes or no? Right? Is that person out of their comfort zone? But is that necessary for that person? So remember, sometimes the best treatment is to pack your bags and get out of the situation completely. Go for 4 months, Jamaat. Completely. Go cold turkey. Right? You have to remove yourself from the situation sometimes completely. Sometimes the solution, if it's mild, it can be treated as you are in your comfort zone. Some diseases, some sicknesses can become remedied at home, right? Some sicknesses, no, you might need to go to, you might need to take a further action, and some more, and some more. It depends on the severity of the disease, right? But remember, one of the most effective is to remove yourself from the situation and go and sit in the company of somebody else. Not just anybody, right? Say somebody else, like somebody who's learned, right? Number one. Number two, the salat that you have missed, he complained that he missed salat. He goes, no problem. Just make an approximation on how many you've missed. And do not miss any salat from this day onwards, and then just start making up, slowly start making them up as with the daily salat. And inshallah, there will come a time in a few years when you make them all up. But main thing is, don't miss any salat from going forward. And if you do miss, make sure that you do the qada of it before you go to sleep. This is a very good habit, guys. It's a difficult one. Like, you just come back from a journey, and like you probably missed some salat in, on the plane, you couldn't play properly, or there was problem with purity, whatever it was, you didn't pray. And before you go to sleep that night, then make sure that you complete your salat and then go to sleep. No qada. No qada. Who from amongst us does not miss a prayer with intent? Who amongst us, if they miss, then make sure they've completed it before sleep that day? Who amongst us allows it to go to the second day? Don't. Never. Make a firm intention never to do that. Who allows it to go for a couple of weeks? You should never do that part. But never allow it to go past the day. If you miss, fix it. Now, obviously, there might be a situation, we might be sick. That's different. I'm talking about in the days of health. I'm talking about the days of health. Obviously, if a person is sick, then, in his sickness, he might not be able, even in the right mind and mindset, to pray. But it depends on the severity of the sickness. But and it's relative to each person. So I'm talking about healthy days. So as far as you breaking fast whilst you are fasting, then you have to give a kafara. What's the kafara of fasting? 60 days fasting consecutively. But he says some ulama are of the opinion that multiple kafara could be done in one kafara. So if you, like, for example, when you were 14, you broke a fast. When you were 16, you broke a fast. When you were 18, you broke a fast. Suddenly, when you got your sanity back, you got married and you got your sanity back, partially. And then you start realizing that, oh, I did this and I did that, and you give kafara. One kafara can suffice for all of the past 60 days. Kafara is if you've broken a fast within without an excuse. Now, if you've missed a fast, that's different. That's separate. The kafara will not suffice for the missed fast. So missing fast, you have to make up. Kafara is that you've broken a fast. You understand? If not, you feed 64 people. Or you free a slave. Whichever is easier for you. All right. Then it goes, and then after you do that, make sure that you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in repentance. Turn to Allah in repentance. As far as these evil inclinations that you mentioned towards the same gender, because the solution is easy, but it's for you to implement it. Number one, ikhtirat. Stop mixing with them. Stop mixing with them, number one. Stop looking at them. Protect your gaze, which is also the same to the opposite sex, right? And ikhtilat is stop mixing with the opposite sex is also there. The same ruling is there too. Do not touch. Do not sit. Do not joke. Do not have discussions and conversations. But that's with the opposite sex too, right? Right? And whatever difficulty that you feel in leaving these things, the difficulty that enters into your heart when you abstain from these things, be patient upon it. Be patient upon it. Obviously, it's going to be difficult. Nothing is easy. It's going to be difficult because it's a habit. And if by mistake your gaze does fall upon somebody, then don't worry about it. Just be patient. Just do not allow it to go to the next stage. Just be patient. Next, it goes, do muraqaba maut. Muraqaba maut. Do not do this without permission from your teacher. Muraqaba maut is to sit and contemplate on death. That you are in your grave and you're sitting in your grave and there is only you in your grave and there's nobody else. This is the reality of life, death. To think about the reality of death. It goes because when a person's istihdar, when he becomes more aware and more conscious about the hereafter, is when he starts leaving the worldly things becomes easy. And the difficulty faced and the difficulty that one feels leaving worldly things, it becomes a bit easy because why? He now realizes that he's conscious about meeting Allah. He's conscious about dying. He's conscious about entering into the grave. The thought of death sends a shiver down his spine. You get it? It is because we forget death is when a lot of things happen. It's like it says that when a person is walking in life, when a person is living his life, his eye is towards his family, his eye is towards his sight is turned towards his family, his wealth, his belongings, his all the worldly things that a person can acquire. He's looking at these things, but he doesn't realize that every step that he's taking is taking him more closer towards his death. It's not taking him away from his death, it's taking him closer to death. Every day that we live is a day closer to death, right? Yes or no? Is our every day a day closer to death? Yes. Every second a second closer to death. Every salat that we pray is one salat less that we will be praying from the salat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has fixed for us that we'll pray before death. Yes? Right? So a person needs to, is when a person becomes oblivious, right? It says that a person doesn't commit a vice a person doesn't commit an evil with fully consciousness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching. He goes into a state of oblivion. He goes into a state of ignorance. And then he commits the sin. You understand? He commits sin. Can you imagine that if a person is committing sin and at the same time that istihdar, that consciousness is there that Allah is watching me, what pleasure will you get out of that sin? You understand? What pleasure will you get out of that sin? Half of your mind would be like he'll be all over the place. Right? It's the same way that if your parent or guardian was to be watching, you'd be like, if the pleasure of the sin disappears, right? So that istihdar of death, that being conscious that one day that we are going to depart this world, puts us into a state of oblivion due to which a person starts committing, he starts having illicit relationships, and he starts having evil inclinations. It goes which I don't know what number it is, but it goes Tabligh Deen is remember the one that we studied from Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayh? He goes, study that book. We've already studied it, by the way. We already finished it and completed it. But the English notes to that is present somewhere. So he goes, study Tabligh Deen of Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayh. Whatever the rights of others that you have usurped, start fulfilling them. If you have heard somebody, say sorry. If you have taken somebody's wealth, return it. If you do not have the ability to return that wealth or whatever that you've taken from another person, then make a firm intention that you will do it. Make dua and seek forgiveness for the people that you have, that you owe to, that you have these rights that are due. Decrease any non-essential relationships. Cut any non-essential relationships. Cut them. How many non-essential relationships do we have nowadays? Too many. Continue listening to my lectures. Continue coming on Tuesday Majlis. All right? Irrespective if you have class or not. It doesn't matter. You have to be here. And in your free time, take some opportunity to come and stay and come and stay here. Make dua for yourself that Allah assists you in these issues of yours, and inshallah we will be also making dua for you, because this what I have given you, this prescription, is kafi wa shafi, is sufficient, is also a sufficient, is a cure. You get it now? It's a long prescription, but inshallah you'll detail it in your notes, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. By the way, the part that I mentioned in which I said that remove yourself from that is not mentioned here. That the part that I mentioned that remove yourself from that situation completely. If the disease is that severe, remove yourself completely. That is not mentioned here. And if you look at it today, this is something that we are unable to move away from. All of these things that have been asked of us, we don't do. And because we don't do it, right, we are unable to remove these illicit and with these evil inclinations from our heart, because we do not act upon the prescription. You act upon half of it. You pray salat, you do the fasting, but you don't do everything else. You do the salat, you do the fasting, but you don't do anything else. You understand? There needs to be a combination of things that a person needs to incorporate. in order to get out of a certain situation. I'll give you a small example. You guys give me the answer. You jumped out of your plane. Hypothetical. Now that you've jumped out, how fast are you falling faster and faster? Or are you slowing down and slowing down when you're falling? Are you going down faster and faster? Okay. When a person starts sinning and when a person starts slipping, when he starts slipping, he doesn't realize it, but he's slipping faster and faster. He's going faster and faster down. Right. Now, tell me, what is it going to take for you to slow yourself down? Courage. I'm going to be super courageous once I'm flying through, like propelling through the air at 100 miles per hour. Yeah, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to need more than courage, brother. I need a parachute. Guess what? I jumped out of the plane without one. Now, the only way that guy is going to survive is by a miracle. Yes or no? Yes or no? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sometimes, if there's no parachute, Allah provided you the parachute. As-salat, fasting, and all of the things prescribed. Do this, do this, do this, do this is your parachutes. It slows a person down. It slows that fall. It slows that fall. But if you do not do all of these things, it doesn't slow the fall. You keep going down faster and faster. You just don't realize it. You understand? This is what happens when a person starts committing one sin. It opens the door to the next one. It opens the door to the next. It's free fall now. You're in free fall. It's just a matter of time before you hit the ground. Just a matter of time before you hit the ground. When you hit the ground, you crash. Big time. Or somehow you grow wings. Or somehow you have a jet propeller stuck to your back. A jet pack stuck, tied to your back. But you need something. Now, how much force is it going to need? So if you're going down at 100 miles per hour, how much force do you need on the opposite side? Engineers will be able to answer that, right? If there's a force going down, right, Umair, how much force on the opposite side do you need? Equal or more, right? The teacher is providing it to you, but you're not doing it. The teacher provided the solution. You do what is incumbent, but you didn't do the rest. Now tell me, is reciting this book, Tabligh Ad-Din, farad or sunnah? Or mustahab? Mustahab, right? But you need it. You need that pressure you need that support underneath you. Now, to fulfill the rights of others that are upon you, is that that's necessary? But a person needs to start doing it. People need to start doing things, right? Reducing your friendships with non-essential friendships. Is that farad, sunnah, or mustahab? Mustahab, right? But here it's necessary. In this situation, it's necessary. You get it? You're in a free fall. You have to do it. But your mind, mind goes, oh, salat is farad. Let me just do this. Roda is farad. Allah is not going to ask me for if I didn't read this book. Allah is not going to ask me if I didn't do muraqabah. Allah is not going to ask me if I didn't send salutations upon the Prophet ﷺ. Allah is not going to ask me if I didn't make istighfar, right? But all of these things are needed because you are coming down to earth 100 miles per hour. You need something to protect yourself and push you back up again. Now you get it? You get it now? Nowadays, you guys are much more educated than me. Nowadays, you tell me, what's the biggest trigger? What's the biggest thing that's corrupting people's minds and hearts? Speak up. Social media. So obviously, the Sheikh, when he gave this antidote, social media was not there. Now, do you think social media would be unnecessary connections? Yes or no? Reduce all unnecessary connections. It falls underneath that category. You have to stop social media. You have to go cold turkey on it. Delete all those social media apps from your phone if you can't control it. Delete them. Boom. Don't even have them on your phone. Forget the passwords. So that you'd have to even for you to impulsively go on there, you'd have to I have to reset this, I have to go this, I'll forget it, right? A person nowadays to delete those social media apps would be necessary, as it is necessary that a person reduce his connection with others. It's very important that a person stop social media if you are in this free fall. If you are in this free fall. What else do you think he should do nowadays? What else nowadays he could do in this situation? Go on vacation? No, absolutely not.
No, a good vacation.
A good vacation, a spiritual vacation. Go on Umrah. Okay. And what if he goes on Umrah when he's doing tawaf and he sees all that stuff there? Go to Medina, where there is no tawaf. Well, that's a probability. Okay, go to Medina. You see, remember, we once met, and I told you this. I've told many of you that Sheikh Yunus rahmatullahi alayhi, such a great student of Sheikh Zakaria rahmatullahi alayhi. We met him one night in Mecca, and he was just coming with a few students of his, and his students were also looked like our teachers, by the way, all mashallah, So Sheikh Yunus rahmatullahi, we met him in Mecca, and we just met him. I said, Assalamu alaikum. And we had a couple of guys. He says, Hazrat, give us some nasiha. Quick nasiha. Fly by, drive by nasiha, Hazrat. He goes, this is Mecca and Medina. This area is sacred. This area is what? Sacred. He goes, keep your gaze down. He goes, if you were to incorrectly use your gaze in Mecca and Medina, the punishment is much more severe. The punishment is much more severe. So this was his nasiyah to us at that time. So, yeah, go to Mecca and Medina, but you have to keep your gaze down. You have to be careful over there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَنْ يُرِدْ فِيهِ بِإِلْحَادٍ. Whoever commits atrocities there, or ilhad is to also go there without ihram, or not to follow the proper etiquette of haram, نُذِقْهُ مِنْ عَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. We will give him a very painful punishment. Painful punishment. Allah doesn't mention like that for other places, but Makkah and Medina, you have to be careful. What else can a person do? Sajid, what do you think? Get a flip phone. Wallah, that's the best thing. Go back to the Blackberries, man. See, you guys used to taunt me because I used to have a Blackberry. But you didn't realize that I was trying to teach you guys something. But even my Blackberry is gone now. But khair, it's get a Blackberry. But do they even make them anymore? They do? SubhanAllah, I don't know. I didn't know that they make one. Oh, there's no new version. No. That's a Motorola Razr, I think. Yes. But khair, get a flip phone because you need a phone for a phone. Right? A phone is to utilize it as a phone. But now we get our WhatsApp on it. So then we get so if you get a flip phone that has a WhatsApp, a flip phone with a WhatsApp, because a lot of people now use WhatsApp. I do a lot of my work on WhatsApp, but khair, I'm not even sure if it's even doable, but khair, get a flip phone. Yeah, why not? What else? Come to the masjid often. Come to the masjid often. If you're not working, go to the masjid and do your prayers at the masjid. What else? Busy. Don't. Umar radiallahu anhu says, let these young men not get off the backs of horses. Why? Because if they're not on the horses, their minds are going to wander here and there. Busy. Keep yourself busy, not entertained. Busy. Now it's all entertainment, right? Like how to entertain oneself, right? It's not about entertainment. Go do the lawn. Go do something. Go make something. Go get a hobby. Go and learn something. Learn a new trade. Learn a new trade. Learn a new skill. Nowadays, people don't even learn to do those skills, right? Who can fix their own brakes on the cars? Shabash. Good job. One person can. No, I didn't ask you. You retired. I can't bring my car to you. Why do you think I'm asking? This guy, Umar, you can do the brakes, right? Nobody else can do brakes. 3 guys. Do you know, guys, how many bolts there are to actually take off to do the bolt? To do that, you take the tire off, and you can just swing that caliper around. You just take one bolt off, you swing that caliper around, you press the inside caliper in. Bob's your uncle. You put the new caliper. It's so easy. I'd love to teach you. I said that. Press the piston in. But you guys should learn these things. Right? You should, guys. Who can change their own spark plugs? Same guys. Okay. Who knows what a spark plug is? One of my students, he's not here because he comes to recite Quran to me in the morning. He goes, Imam, the brake the brake fluid light in the car is on. I could put some brake fluid in because that's the problem. I don't know where to put it in. Guys, don't laugh. You guys don't know also. You guys don't know also. So it's never too late to learn a new skill, right? Learn is never too late. You know how much, if you learn how to do brakes, how much money do you save? How much money do you save? A lot, and depending on the car you drive, right? A lot of money. Where did you learn, brother? YouTube. I'm impressed. Mashallah. How old are you? Good job. What's your name? Amin. I gotta remember this name now. What's your phone number, by the way? Give it to me later. I mean, don't worry, man. I used to work on my own cars since I was young. I used to see my father making cars. I used to see my father taking apart engines, putting them back together again. And I put my first engine back together again in myself without the help of my father. My father was traveling. It was his car that I was working on.
Those days you can see now in the car, in the engine and heat from it because they don't have so many parts like nowadays.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, nowadays it's more like they have sensors for everything, but the basic theory is still the same.
Right.
Now they just have more sensors all over the place. That's all. But khair, who can change their own tire? Who can change their own tire? No, a flat tire. You have a tire. Who cannot change their own tire? No. You didn't all put your hand up. Who cannot change their own tires? You cannot change your tire. You can change. Yeah, you can, right?
No, I did this.
Oh, you did? Saad, you can't change a tire. You can? Yes, you can or you can. Have you changed one ever? Akil, can you change the time? When the last time you changed one? See, do you know how much? You know, we don't realize it, but how much we lack in basic skills, day-to-day need that we need. We lack in them. Go learn a skill, inshallah. Subhanallah, I mean,
5 years to learn how to
your wife told you now how to clean the house after 65 years?
learn how to speak.
Subhanallah.
That's the only skill.
No, it's not. It's not really. No, not really. It's not. You should learn also. Yeah. Can you cook? Can you cook? Can you make an egg? How many minutes do you have to boil an egg for it to be half boiled? It's 8.5 minutes. See, you didn't know that. Hmm. Everybody's looking down on the cooking part. Sila goes, don't even ask me. Muhammad goes, right? No, but he can, by the way. He can cook, right? Can't you cook with him? Yeah, I know you can. Because you lived alone, man. For you and Papi used to live alone, right?
Social media. When I see TV,
So TV, you're talking about TB or TV? So they say TV and TB is the same thing. You know what TB is?
Yeah, I know what TV.
Yeah. So it says that TV and TB is the same thing. It's just the difference between the verb. It depends which country you're from. Some countries, they don't have a verb. So it's a TB, right? So they say TV as a TV, but khair. But you know, on the TV, if you are watching permissible stuff, then fine.
Social media, it's rather eats you time, and promotes you and what you. And then TV, and I'm talking about here, I see grown-up men, they're group creativity watching football. So
It's like you're asking me a question. It's like asking somebody who's from Bangladesh that should you eat, is it permissible to eat prawns or not? And you're asking a guy like me from England, is it permissible to watch soccer or not?
actually, I'm talking about overdoing.
Don't ask difficult questions, brother. Why do you have to bring soccer into this?
By the way, we won yesterday.
I know, we 1-0. But
Can I ask a question?
listen,
Concerning this?
you should watch the highlights. They have no adverts and nothing on it. But if you're watching remember a soccer game is not like American football. American football is different. You know, there's no cheerleaders, there's no this, there's no that, there is no intervals, there's no rock or concerts right in the middle of something. Soccer game is different. But if you are watching soccer, I'm going to allow you that. Just keep your gaze down. Get it?
Now, I'm a Chelsea man. He's Man United man. And that is a match between Chelsea and United. So that
No. I take it with a pinch of salt. If you support a team, support it for fun, not for not a aqidah. It's not a religion. Yeah, it's not a religion. You have to have balance. You have to have balance. Just don't talk to Abdul Razak when Man United loses, and that's why his adhan is a bit off on that day too.
No, time to pray.
Yeah.
I have a question. Really, I'm serious. Me in life right now, 7 years old, I can control actually almost every visa I can think of in this room.
Alhamdulillah.
Except
Okay.
Usually everybody should know, every man should.
Don't include them, just talk about yourself.
Really, really accept one when it comes to the opposite sex.
Okay.
Really, not that I want to do this.
So let me tell you something. This proves to Big Hazrat Rahmatullah Alayhi's statement. Remember what Big Hazrat Rahmatullah Alayhi used to say? Sajid, remember what Big Hazrat Rahmatullah Alayhi used to say? What did Big Hazrat Rahmatullah Alayhi used to say? Big Hazrat Rahmatullah Alayhi used to say that even when a man gets old, huh, and the women think this is an old Baba, no need to do hijab from this guy. He can't do anything, right? He's our Baba, he's our uncle, he's our Dada, right? They call him Dada, they call him Nana. The Big Hazrat Rahmatullah Alayhi used to say that even an old man in his heart goes kurkur. You know that his heart still is inclined towards evil. So, but this is the human nafs. See, the reason being, desire doesn't die till death. It only subsides when death comes. Actually, there might even be an argument. Sure, not able to follow them through in a lot of times.
I'm not following them just like the.
Alhamdulillah. But the inclination is there. Because you're human. That is not, you're never going to be able to disconnect the battery. You can't disconnect that battery. The battery of desires, the negative and positive, can only be disconnected on death. Only on death is disconnected. That's why we need to be mindful. Company, because honestly, the smallest, the shortest time is a volcano that's erupted.
So now, in order for me to show the information, first thing to do.
Yeah, if you can afford it. Inshallah, let's do some muraqabah, inshallah. We have everybody else, those of you who are new, nobody new, but do muraqabah, inshallah. There might be somebody online who's new today. Focus the mind to the heart to Allah. Do not think about anything. And the human heart is a highway of thoughts. The human heart is a highway of thoughts. The key is not to pay attention to them. Slowly, as you focus and you focus and you focus, these thoughts will diminish and it will disappear into the background. You will not pay attention to them. When you're thinking about Allah, you get a thought, you just continue thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So think that your heart is saying Allah, Allah, Allah. Do not say anything with your tongue. We'll do more Muratala after Salat because we don't have time. But those people who are at home, inshallah, knew they should at least do Muratala for 30 minutes per day, inshallah. So,